What is happening, Reject Nation? I'm Greg Alba.
I'm John Humphrey.
Jay Washington is here. Mr. Jay Washington on Twitter and Instagram. Trusty Sidekick Podcast. Go over there. It's everywhere on the internet. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Every
Everywhere
website you
books
can
are
think
sold.
of, it's there. It's
Every
right
place
there.
you can download something, including porn.
Oh, okay.
You gotta take
Wow.
advantage of those porn websites.
Hey, man.
I've seen you. What we're going to talk about today is making the news everywhere. I even got an oil change today. It was on ABC News. This is a huge ordeal. Everyone's posting about it. JJ Abrams is directing Star Wars Episode 9. I cannot think of a more bland choice to have done.
It's called them playing it safe.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's Kathleen
I don't
Kennedy,
that.
because Kathleen Kennedy has basically told everybody, you got to go through this format when you're doing the Star Wars films. If you try to deviate from what we have set for you, again, that's why Lord and Miller are gone from the Han Solo film. Clearly, that's why Colin Trevorrow is gone now.
You see, I felt like, okay, JJ Abrams did a decent job with The Force Awakens. I really did feel that. I wasn't like, hey, like, oh, it's exactly a New Hope. I thought it was a good setup, a good way to start a new trilogy. That's fine. And then when they got Rian Johnson, I was like, oh, here we go. Now we're going to take it in a new direction. So I'm really excited for Rian Johnson's Star Wars movie. But then to take it with JJ Abrams, who's known to kind of just, like, his trailers for his movies always look like they're going to be this super inventive, creative, mysterious.
And
it's usually like, pretty simple. It's pretty conventional. Yeah.
It's a pretty good
I think-
Spielberg-esque.
I think the problem is you have the older fans of Star Wars and the newer fans. And that's where the clash is coming in regards to wanting newer, innovative directors. Because, of course, Rian Johnson's going to do something different, but maybe not as different as we think. Because he has to have followed that same parameter lines.
Or else he would have gotten fired.
He would have gotten fired.
Yeah.
People are like, let's just let these new directors have it. And which is true. You should let these new directors come aboard and bring their own creative visions. But that hammer that's been let down right there at Lucasfilm, like, this is what it is. You're going to do it this way no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's why you go back to JJ Abrams. Again, he's already did Episode 7. Why not just get back to Episode 9?
I just don't see him doing something that's going to be entirely, like, inventive. I was excited. I've been excited for it, and I like the idea of getting a different director for each one of this.
I agree.
Of the new trilogy. And to go back to the guy who got blamed for just, doing the beat
Rehashing
sheet
it.
of New Hope. Yeah.
I saw Force Awakens. I was like, this is New Hope.
Who got similar backlash for Into Darkness with Star Trek.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, and Star Trek Into Darkness was his direct sequel to, and it was like, this ain't exactly the most inventive thing in the world already.
Borrowing a lot of plot points from a different Star Trek movie we've seen.
And I'm like, this guy's great at homage. I like what he did with Super 8. At the same time, I'm like, this could have been a much more exciting choice to get for a director.
So are you expecting to see Return of the Jedi?
I know that.
Basically, if we're going to call it that way, you expect to see Return of the Jedi.
I feel like we're just not going to get something that's super exciting as we want it to be, It's like Colin Trevorrow with Jurassic World. I wasn't too excited for Colin Trevorrow. And like I said, I like what JJ did with Force Awakens. It's like when they had Lord and Miller, I thought that was great. And then they get Ron Howard to do what the studios want him to do. And that's all this feels like now. I'm like, man, Star Wars is becoming like studio movie. Although it still could be good. I do like Rogue One. I do like Force Awakens. But even Rogue One I thought was more ballsy.
Yeah, because you killed off all your main characters.
Yeah.
And it's dark.
Which is a
stuff.
surprise for once.
Are you excited for JJ to do this, or are you just kind of whatever? Because I'm in the whatever spot.
I'm in the whatever category because, again, he's done it. He knows what they want. We should hear less controversy behind the director situation.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody wants. If you're going to make these movies, make these movies. It's already sad we're not going to have Carrie Fisher anymore. Mark Hamill eventually has to go.
Yeah, true.
So you got to just take whoever you're going to have at the helm of this film and just know what Kathleen Kennedy is doing. Because that's, at the end of the day, it's all Kathleen Kennedy.
She is the director.
At the end of the day.
yeah.
She's the one who says, no, it needs to be this.
Yeah. I think J.J. Abrams is going to do a good job. That's the thing. I'm not sitting here going, he's going to do a bad job. I just think...
no, yeah, it's just like going to a Baskin Robbins and ordering vanilla. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's good. I know this will be tasty, but like...
I know what it is. I know what I'm getting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more interesting stuff around, and not that you have to... Like, I get the trouble with this is that they do have, like, they've got to keep their committee overarching thing. They got to manage a lot with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just seems like getting directors who are a bit more interesting is also also part of the hype train. Every response I've seen over this choice has been okay. Like, he'll do a fine job.
I think the problem was when you already put him at the helm of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because when you heard
we're going back.
Right, because when you heard we were getting a new trilogy, you were expecting something completely different. And like you said earlier, as a whole, everybody was like, this is just a New Hope.
Yeah.
This is just a New Hope all over again. And so had he not done Force Awakens, we might have been excited to hear.
Exactly.
Had he not done Force Awakens, it'd have been something you'd be like, oh my God, JJ Abrams is doing a Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is great. But then once he did Force Awakens, and we were like, we kind of seen this movie.
Right.
Now, on the opposite side of this coin, I do start to wonder, like, how, again, if we're talking on these terms, you know, maybe the director doesn't have a ton to do with how these movies are going to turn out, because there's also the scripts, there's also the writing.
Which he's also writing.
Oh,
he
is
is
he
also
writing?
he is writing this as well.
All right, well then, never mind a little bit.
I feel like JJ's a great setup director. You know, like, 'cause I feel like the Mission Impossible franchise got reinvigorated with Mission Impossible 3. That's when it totally started rebooting. And then he continued producing. Then we got Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation with 2 different directors. And I thought those kept getting better. And I feel like
the ball rolling.
He's good at getting the ball rolling. I don't think he's the best at, like, keeping the ball rolling.
Well, I don't know if I want him to be the guy to execute the landing.
Yeah, I feel like he's a good producer. And to put a finale stamp on the trilogy is...
So who would, if JJ Abrams became producer of Episode 9?
I would like to see, like, Brad Bird do it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a good choice, right?
You know, everybody was like,
I think Brad Bird would have. This was movie fights. Is what I would have picked. Would have like Brad Bird, man.
And I think the problem is the internet and the world don't just want a decent movie.
This is a disease in a way that's circulating around all these big flagship properties. We keep revitalizing our beloved stuff. We did it recently with Alien again, and we keep doing it with all kinds of things. Now we've got things like Marvel popping up and stuff where you have these overarching committees guiding stories. At a certain point, I've begun to worry about the Star Wars movies, especially with the Han Solo, debacle and some of the announcements they made going forward. I'm like, there's got to be a point at which these movies are going to stop. The prequel trilogy didn't do so good, so we know that they're capable of having subpar films. And so now I'm kind of worried about where Star Wars is going to head, and if it's going to head into a homogenized territory, because that's what drove me up the wall about Alien Covenant, which is not the same kind of movie, but it's like, this is a beloved thing that some people claim is one of their favorite movies, and if we're gonna bring it back, it's gotta be Alien and Aliens.
I thought you said somebody.
But we're keeping it alive. We're keeping it going, and we're making more of them. And if we're gonna do that, they have to be like Star Wars has to be pretty great. Because if it turns out bland after a while, that's about the most depressing thing that can happen.
I think to piggyback on yours, when you said Star Wars had 3 fails with the prequels, the problem was nobody asked for them. Let's just be honest. No one cared to know the full origins.
This is a nice surprise.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Anakin Skywalker as a kid. If we just saw what happened just straight after Return of the Jedi, great. Because we wouldn't have been soured by prequels. Now you have Force Awakens. Everybody's like, okay, for the most part, decent. Episode 8 that comes out this year, you're like, the trailer, our Last Jedi, you're like, okay, we'll see. But you got a different director in Rian Johnson, so you're like, I trust, we'll see.
Well, and Rian Johnson's like the thing I'm excited about.
And he's letting you know, like, listen, what was it? Something about the whole don't watch trailers.
Don't watch trailers.
If you want to enjoy this movie, enjoy the movie. Don't watch trailers.
Which is why he's not being brought back for Episode 9.
Which probably would explain that.
Yeah.
The ad team fired me.
Because they're like, what do you mean don't watch the trailers? We have to have people watch trailers.
We make these movies to cut trailers.
We have you film all of this stuff in 2 weeks just for a trailer.
So that we could take it out of context and reveal too much to the public.
Real quick.
There never seem to be problems with Force Awakens on set. Episode 8 doesn't seem to have any problems on set either. I haven't heard anything about, like, there's problems going on. Other than, of course, the unfortunate passing of Carrie Fisher's death. The spin-offs are the ones that tend to have, like, the major problems. Rogue One had to go these, like, reshoots and, like, what the hell is this director doing? And then the Han Solo spin-off, everyone just keeps getting worried about that. I'm sure this one will be fine. I just hope that if they want to stick to, like, studio notes for this trilogy, okay, whatever. I'm hoping that for their spin-offs, at least, they're willing to be more creative and willing to embark on, like, crazier types of execution, like what Phil Lord and Chris Miller probably would have done with Han Solo.
I just hope they don't stick to the whole, this is what the character has to be, and end up like, so we need to follow this formula. You can take a character different ways, twists and turns, till you get to where they are. But again, Episode 9 is like, I think the thing is we have to wait till 8 comes out.
For sure.
More than anything.
True.
All of us are just like, here we go again. let's be honest. But we forgot that there's a film still coming out this year. We have to let 8 happen first.
True.
Once 8 happens, if you look at it and you see that Rian Johnson has literally did Empire Strikes Back, you're like, oh shit.
Oh, this is. Oh no.
Oh my god. Because then you know there's a pattern.
Yeah.
Now you know, we already said episode 7 is similar to A New Hope. If episode 8 is Empire Strikes Back, you're like,
I can see the template.
I see this formula.
Yeah.
This is not going to be good. There's going to be a fire dancing scene at the end of 9. I promise there's going to be a ghost. There's going to be ghosts that pop up. I promise you. That's going to happen.
He's going to throw Snoke down.
But that's what we have to wait till 8 first and foremost. If 8 is completely different, then I might be like,
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
And I'm hoping for that.
On the positive side, that could be JJ's chance to do something that isn't going to be so scrutinized for being so close to something previous.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, if 8 really trudges off in its own direction, which I feel like it should. Like, if we're going to keep doing these movies, we should keep groundbreaking with them and trying stuff, because that's what the original ones did in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what the spirit is. If this is his chance to come back and do, like, this is my different Star Wars.
I learned my lesson from Star Trek Into Darkness and from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm going to give you guys something a little different. I've already talked to Kathleen Kennedy. I had to kiss on the neck. It kind of disturbed me, but I kissed on the neck. We talked, but you had to do something
She
to sit
smelled
there.
my hair. It was weird.
It was weird. It was awkward. We had prunes and wine. I don't know why we had the combination.
Very regular now.
Very regular.
The story's leading to how JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy slept together.
But they have to have an understanding of, look, let's do something a little bit different that stays along the line, but isn't like a carbon copy.
All right, guys. Well, why don't you tell us below in the comments, are you excited for JJ Abrams to be returning? If you are,
You can't even say that with a straight face.
Please say
You can't even
it.
say that with a straight face.
Or who would you want to have been hired to direct this? So you can subscribe to The Real Rejects, click that notification bell, Datch on Humphrey on Twits and Instagram, follow us at patreon.com/TheRealRejects, become a patron, and Mr. J Washington on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Trusty Sidekick Podcast. Is that on YouTube?
No, just iTunes right now.
Just
Anywhere
iTunes right
audio
now.
is found.
Yeah, anywhere audio is found.
Stitcher.
Because I don't have great video capabilities like these fellas do, because
Yeah.
we need more people.
You mean our mic in the one-up box?
I mean, it works perfectly. It looks like a great...
That's why you got to join our
Photo like
Patreon.
5 years ago.